little surprised at where a few kids are in 8th grade, which is where my daughter's at now. She already has kids that, they're moving into. So far, it's like getting into the early vaping and drinking, but they have siblings that are already into drugs, parents that are into drugs.
Yeah,
and so it's only
beyond. This is right. The parents. A lot of these kids on the show just have horrific family lives. Like,
yeah, so it's coming for some of these kids. I can already tell. Like, there's already ones towing the line of just wanting to do things because their siblings are, or it's what they know. And I think it's probably more accurate than some people might think. That's why I really need to watch it and really like check in with my 14-year-old and be like, how much is this? What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
That's true, Sam. And yeah, it's true. And my youngest daughter, she hung out with a pretty, they were pretty rough. And the kids, they were troubled, and they were troubled because of their home lives also, you know what I mean? And it was just like, getting out of that cycle. But like, I always had one living with me all through my kids' high school. I always had one of their children, friends, literally lived with me for years. It was insane. Like, their parents didn't give a shit. Their mother didn't even know where the fuck they were sleeping. But I was taking care of these kids. It was so, yeah. And I always did that. And I always wanted my kids to see that, no matter what, like, somebody always has it 10 times worse than you. And that was my, I always say my kids aren't book smart at all. They didn't have that. So they were kind of fucked with that. So all I could do was give them street smarts. That's all I had to give. Because I grew up on the street, street smart. So, but it's, it's pretty crazy. My daughter, Alexa, did call me a few weeks ago, and she was out with one of these girls that she works with. And she was telling me how, this girl raised herself at 13 and my daughter was like, here I am complaining about something trivial. And she was like, and this girl's struggles were just like something I couldn't even imagine, and I was like,
so the other thing I've been seeing about Euphoria is that, like, parents are freaking out thinking it's going to be like a bad influence on their kids if they watch it and stuff.
Right. That's what the whole thing was. Yep.
But I would like to remind parents of today that parents in the late 90s, when I was in middle school and high school, were all losing their minds over like the Eminem and Dr. Dre albums, thinking that their little white suburban kids were going to grow up to be gangbangers from listening to that music, which in hindsight is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard.
I don't know, Margaret. Look at us now. We are,
my soft white ass is an accountant. Like, what? Like, honestly. So I think it has way more. I don't think any pop culture will change the course of a kid's life like that. Like, they weren't going to go down the drug road and now they are because they saw a show or what, you know what I mean? I think that comes from much bigger places.
Well, parents also think that like the show is glorifying, the drug use, but it's,
I heard people say that about Teen Mom too. And I'm like, you obviously never watched Teen Mom because it does not.
Right. Yes. But yeah, I think that, this is what my advice always was to my friends who always said to me, how did your kids become the way they are? And I said, because I always taught my kids to be leaders, not followers. They were the leaders. They were the ones, they made the decision. I'm not going to do that. And I don't give a shit what you think of me, because I'm not going with you on this trip. And growing up as a kid, I was like that. I was a leader, and when I knew people were about to go to jail, I knew enough not to go. Sure enough, they all ended up in jail. I didn't go. One of my friends ended up dead twice. You know what I mean? Like, these were situations that I was like, I'm not. So it's a lot that I guess it's just like street smarts, right? Like,
well, or I think my rule of thumb for myself that I think would serve young folks well to follow too is don't do anything that's going to permanently change your life. So anything that's going to be a criminal record, kill you, get you pregnant. Don't do those things, which is why I stuck to weed and blowies in high school.
well,
my throat can't get pregnant. I really hope
I mean, the logic is sound, Marge. The logic is sound.
Well, I still to this day have never done drugs harder than weed.
I can't say that for myself.
My friend is a nurse and she slips me a Xanax once in a while, but I feel like that doesn't count because it's under medical supervision, right?
Yeah, I've got so much Xanax. I mean, please. Yeah.
But yeah, I've never like, and even still to this day, but like especially in high school and college, like if I knew I was going to be drinking a lot, I wouldn't even like drive my car to the party or to the bar so that like that temptation to be like, oh, I'm not that drunk, I'll drive it, like would be there. Like I would just either get a ride with a friend, take a taxi there. Like my car would never be even in the equation. Like I tried to, trust me, I still had plenty of fun, but I tried to sort of set myself up for degenerate success along the way.
Yeah, so. I mean, I you know how many nights I was up at 2 a.m. and driving out to pick up my drunk kids. Not my youngest. My youngest was like straight edge then. She didn't drink or anything. She was just like more like the emo-y skater and straight edge, but my other one was a big partier. But yeah, I would go pick them all up. I mean, that was prior to Uber and Lyft. Then once Uber and Lyft came, I just like would open the app and get them picked up. But
right,
yeah,
I always figured if I had kids, what I would just tell them when they became of partying age was like, I don't care what you do, but I better not find out about it. Because if I don't find out about it, that means I didn't get a call from the hospital. I didn't get a call from jail. You're not pregnant. So if you're not doing any of those things, then fine. Just don't let it get to that point.
Yeah. So I don't envy Sam right now. I'm so glad I don't have.
Yeah, me neither. But Lily seems like a good kid. She does.
I know.
Yeah, she's doing really good. She's a smart kid, and I'm trying to take the parenting route of, okay, like I'm not going to tell you don't do stuff because I would rather prepare my kids for the world they're going to live in, not the world I wish they were going to live in. And unfortunately, that means using social media and having to be around kids that do messed up stuff. And you're going to want to try things out and trying to not be like, no, and you can't, and this, and no, and no, and no, but just say like, you're a little young to be trying this stuff. I'd rather you wait for a while and be ready before you're going to try anything weird. If you get in a situation and you told me you were going someplace, but you go someplace else and something's going down, you text me, I will come and get you. Okay. Like come and tell me.
My parents were super open. They drank, they did pot. Like they obviously had sex before they were married because they had me. And like you just weren't hiding that one. And they like don't care. Like we've done it all. Booze was always very open in our house. Like from the time I was little, like Sunday dinner, you got a little glass of wine and stuff like that. And none of my cousins, anybody, none of us went through like a crazy bingy drinky time because it was just something that was whatever. Like if one of my cousins asked for a beer as a teen, one of the dads would be like, yeah, sure. Like it was just never a taboo thing.
Conversely, Jen, my mom straight up told me the only reason you should ever have sex is if you want to have a baby. And let me tell you how much that backfired when I was in college.
Yeah. I mean, don't make something forbidden fruit. I don't like to do that. I don't want to make everything seem so taboo and crazy because that makes a kid just go, oh,
right?
I really want to look into it. And I've told her, if you wind up in a situation and you get freaked out, even if you're where you told me you weren't going to be, or you didn't tell me you were going to be there, I don't care. I need you to text me. Right. Doing something you think I'm going to freak out about. You need to call me. I will come and get you. We've talked about even making a code, something that she can text me. That's okay. I know I need to come and get her. And I said, and I can't promise that you're not going to be in trouble for doing what you weren't supposed to be doing. But what I can promise is that the most important thing is that you're safe, that we get you home, and then we will talk about it and we will go from there. And I don't want you to ever be scared to call me for help. I don't ever want you to be in a situation. If someone gives you a pill and you take it and you start freaking out, I need to know about that right now. I can't have her scared to call me.
No.
She needs to call me so I can help her. We will deal with the aftermath later and talk about that. That's kind of how I try to do things, because I'm just trying to prepare her for the world she's going to live in. That means there's going to be alcohol. That means there's probably going to be weed. There's going to be, like Margaret said, you're going to do all this stuff. We all did. So I would rather teach her, like, let's learn to do things safely. If you want to try stuff, here's how you do it safely. Not with some random dudes you don't know, with friends that you're safe with, et cetera, you know.
Right.
And, you know, time will tell if it works, but that's what I'm trying to do right now anyway.
You'll be good.
Right. Plus you're in you're in the Midwest. You're pretty safe right now.
Yeah, we're not dodging a whole lot of, violence, the biggest worry she's going to have is obviously drugs. They're lousy here.
You have a lot of heroin problems, Sam, in those, because
mostly meth. It's a lot of meth. Fentanyl has come. It's here. We've seen.
I forgot about that. We don't have a lot of meth up here. I don't know if it's hard to cook. It's a crack. It's crack. We don't see.
Well, here we got farms. You go out, you rob a farm of a bunch of anhydrous ammonia, and bam, you got a meth lab. And so meth is a big problem here in the rural areas. And so she'll definitely face, drugs, dating violence. That's the two things she's gonna deal with the most, probably. But and alcohol, a lot of drinking here. Got to teach her how to do that safely. Not going to tell her, don't drink, Lily, because that's the stupidest thing you could say in Hays, Kansas. Trust. There's a joke that there's bars and churches, and there's about an equal amount of the two, and there's a lot of them, right? It's that kind of, it's a way of life here, that there is a lot of alcohol. And so I'd rather not tell her, don't drink. I need to tell her, here's how you're going to drink. And when the time comes that she starts dabbling in that, and be like, all right, we're going to find out what your tolerance is. You're going to sit here with me. You're going to get drunk. We're going to find out
That's hilarious.
And you're going to learn to do this safely. I do not, the first time you pass out, be at some random kid's house, in trouble,
Also, make sure to tell her not to do the thing where you put like a vodka soaked tampon in your butt or whatever, because you'll get alcohol poisoning.
Thank you, Margaret. That is very excellent advice. And
a vodka soaked tampon in your butt.
This is the early 2000s awful trend.
What the actual hell?
It's my daughter in the background.
All right, it sounds like we gave her that lesson already then.
Give her any ideas.
Her ears are perked up now. And so we will be discussing vodka soaked tampons later on this evening.
Does that really get you wasted? Is that true?
Yes, it gets into your bloodstream too fast, and people get alcohol poisoning.
Oh my God, that's insane. I have no idea. I mean, I knew they were eating Tide Pods, but I always used to think like really if they were eating Tide Pods, then really would they still have like shit stains in their underwear? Like when
It's like they should advertise them that way, like self-cleaning skid marks.
Self-cleaning, like eat this. I don't know, like it's so like I'm sure when we were kids we did stupid shit. I remember catching my youngest daughter like trying to smoke Cheetos. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
She had a Cheeto and they were lighting Cheetos and like trying to